Hello you beautiful, beautiful people. Today we are jumping in and completing this week's Forzathon challenges light as a feather for the final spring season of Series 5. We're going to be grabbing those all-important Forzathon points to spend at the Forzathon shop and the all-important points towards the festival playlist. So if you aren't around here, definitely consider subscribing. We are now just 1,000 subscribers away from 20k. A like rating is always much appreciated, and without further ado, let's jump into this week's Forzathon challenges. So let's kick off today's video with this week's Forzathon shop. First cut of grabs for 600 Forzathon points is the McLaren P1 from 2013. 1.35 million at the auto show, can also be picked up in wheel spins, and is always worth checking out the auction house, see if you can pick up a bargain. Second car in this week's shop is the Porsche Macan LPR Rally Raid, 450 Forzathon points. Fairly rare car, can only be picked up through wheel spins, Forzathon shop and seasonal events. This car is not available at the auto show. Again, always check out the auction house, see if you can pick up a bargain. As always, we've got two vanity items. This week's hat is the festival sombrero, and this week's car horn is Welcome Spring. 75 Forzathon points for each of these. And as always, if you're feeling lucky and got some spare Forzathon points knocking around, you can grab yourself a normal wheel spin for 60 Forzathon points, or you can grab yourself a super duper wheel spin for 150 Forzathon points. Now you're going to have to let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's Forzathon shop. I personally don't think it's too bad. Who doesn't need a festival sombrero to rip it around Mexico, completing the festival playlist? Now the vehicle you're going to need for this week's Forzathon challenges is an absolute monster. It's the 2010 Mosler MT900S, a very OP car from Forza Horizon 4. I do have two tunes available for download if you want to go ahead and use them. Just search my gamer tag Skippy4631 or the file name Skippy YouTube. Share codes for both tunes are in the description and in the comments below. One tune is 4-wheel drive, one tune is rear-wheel drive. Now, as always, we will be checking out the Festival Playlist rewards for the spring season at the end of the video. But first, we'll get this week's Forzathon challenges light as a feather completed. Chapter 1, Fit for Purpose. Own and drive the 2010 Mosler MT900S to recreate fond memories with the Forza Horizon 4 PR Stunt monster. Own and drive then, hop outside any festival site or player house, drive 2 seconds down the road, and Fit for Purpose completed. So with Chapter 1 done, it is on to Chapter 2, Mosler Tingle. With great acceleration comes great responsibility. Show the 2010 Mosler MT900S's true potential by earning 10 stars from speed traps. Now for this chapter, head on into your map and filter by speed traps, making it a little bit easier to see and find. I'm also going to put speed zones on the map because for this week's Forzathon challenges, that is all we need, speed traps and speed zones. Now for chapter 2 we need a speed trap, so I'm heading on over to the Dunas Blancas area and I'm going to be using Coast View speed trap with 185 mph 3-star target. Here we go then, 10 stars in total from speed traps, and using the Coast View speed trap the Mosler has no trouble getting that 3-star objective. As you can see, we're already at 200 mph through the camera, 217, that is 3 stars. I'm going to carry a bit of distance past the camera so we can flick it round and hit the camera again. And after spinning the Mosler round, we take another run up at the camera again, hitting 200 mph or more through the camera. 208 as another 3 stars. We have 6 stars in total. 2 more runs and we'll have this chapter complete. Here we go, run number 3. And of course you don't have to get 3 stars through the camera, you can get 2 or 1. Just have to do a few more runs. We go through at 214, that is 9 stars towards our 10-star objective. Coming up on our 4th and final run through this camera at 211.21, that's another 3 stars. That's well over our 10-star objective for this chapter, and Mosler Tingle completed. So with chapter 2 completed, it is on to chapter 3, All Rounder. Earn a total of 300 mph or 483 km/h across speed zones in the rear wheel powerhouse, the Mosler MT900S. So for this chapter, I'm still sticking with the left-hand side of the map near Dunas Blancas, and we're going to be using La Silica with 125 mph 3-star target. Here we go then, 300 miles an hour across speed zones. So a fairly big run up where you will have to brake for this left-hander. Slightly cut the corner and into the camera. So as much speed as we can through this camera. Full throttle, dab a brakes here, down one gear, chuck her in. If we can get above 150, which we just do, 150.81. It's a new personal best with the Mosler as well. So that is halfway towards our 300 mile an hour target. Here we go then, second run coming in from the exact same direction. Full power, full send. Let's see if we can get 150 miles an hour again. Do it in 2 runs. It's a bit slow through there. 144.44, so a little bit more, and we will have our 300 miles an hour total. I have just spun the Mosler around to hit the speed zone again. Just got that little bit of miles an hour that we need to complete the chapter. 148.71. And all-rounder completed. So with chapter 3 completed, it is on to our 4th and final chapter, Supercharged. No power steering needed. Showcase the car's speed by completing a speed trap and a speed zone within 2 minutes in the 2010 Mosler MT900S. So for this chapter, I'm sticking with the Dunas Blancas area, and there's a reason I've been using Coast View and La Silica, because we need a speed trap and a speed zone fairly close together. So we're going to complete the speed zone first, 125 miles an hour, make our way down this road, take a cheeky left, make our way along here, and then we'll complete Coast View with 185 miles an hour, 3-star target. So now let's put everything I just said into practice. Let's let the Mosler rip, complete a speed zone and a speed trap within 2 minutes. Now I'm not sure if you need the 3-star objective or if you can do this with a 1-star. You'll have to let me know in the comments how you guys get this done. But let's hit the speed zone first. We need 125 miles an hour if we can. Tap the brakes through the left, down a gear into third, feather the throttle. 152.05, that's a personal best. So we're going to get on the brakes in a second here. We're going to take a left. We're going to head our way to the speed trap. Full power, full send. 185 if we can. And that is definitely within 2 minutes. That is through the camera at 215. Which definitely completes Chapter 4 Supercharged and finishes off this week's Forzathon challenges light as a feather for those all-important Forzathon points and the much-needed 5 points towards our spring hot season festival playlist. Speaking of the festival playlist, this week's rewards, cars and goodies up for grabs. For 20 points, the Nissan GT-R Nismo 2020, and for 40 points, the Honda Civic CRX Mugen. For completing this week's online trial, Bloomin' Lovely, you get the Lotus 311. This week's Event Lab Challenge, the Black Drift Zone t-shirt. Seasonal Playground Games makes a return this week, and for completing that, you'll grab the Subaru WRX 2008. 5 PR stunts on the playlist once again this week. For this week's Danger Sign, you're going to be grabbing a wheel spin. This week's Speed Zone, the Bugatti T35C, a fairly expensive car. This week's Speed Trap, the Pagani Huayra Forza Edition. This week's Drift Zone, grabbing a wheel spin. And finally, for this week's Trailblazer, you'll be grabbing the white Trailblazer Finish T. Treasure Hunt makes a return this week. You'll be grabbing 50,000 credits for getting that complete. This week's Photo Challenge, Forza Link chat phrase, it is the way. And finally, this week's Horizon Open Challenge, you'll be grabbing another Forza Link chat phrase, I'm a games master. We've got some pretty tasty and pretty expensive rewards on this week's festival playlist. But as always, if you've got any questions about the festival playlist or this week's Forzathon challenges, do hit me up in the comments. I'll do my best to help you out. But thanks for watching. If you are new, definitely consider subscribing. A like rating is always much appreciated. Stay safe, guys, and have an awesome day.